Hello and welcome to the Dragon and Bear Show, where today we're actually splitting it into same video, two recordings merged into one, because someone, not naming names, Alex, overslept, and, I've got stuff to do, so easiest way to do it is do it like this, so, yeah, today, separately, but to get... Okay, we're discussing Pokemon the movie, Volcanion, and the Mechanical Marvel. It was released in 2016, obviously served as the final entry of the X and Y movie trilogy, and it is a solid movie. I think it's probably my favourite of the X and Y three, and it is probably the best one in quite some time in terms of quality. For the fact that its opening credits showcase two characters from the anime is a nice change. They do it on occasion, but not very often, so that's quite cool. And it also, obviously, for the first time, actually acknowledged Mega Evolution and sort of give a little explanation, so that's a bit different. And it took 3 movies to do that. Technically 4, if you count the other one that had Mega Evolution. But still, you get the point. It's got an interesting idea of, obviously, Ash being connected to Volcanion through this belt that kind of, when you get so far, it magnetically pulls you back. So that's quite an interesting thing, because it kind of forces Ash to be in the movie more, since if it focuses on Volcanion, it has to focus on him because they're attached and it can't go so far. And that does lead to a lot of comical moments of like Ash almost drowning and stuff like that. But it also leads to some stuff that really confused me. So there's 2 sequences that really confused me the most. So they get Ash some clothes, and he somehow takes his clothes off and puts new clothes on and tucks it under the belt, even though the belt looks like it's fully attached to his waist. So obviously you wouldn't be able to really do that. And then on top of that, there's a mechanical suit that he gets, and he does the same thing. It somehow gets it underneath this belt. So it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But I just ignored that, sort of. If you can ignore that, then obviously it won't fuck your mind like it did me for a while. Obviously the city they're in now, city, like a town, city, meh. It's kind of steampunk inspired, which looks really cool. The characters themselves are quite steampunk inspired at times, which is interesting. The villains of this movie are a bit meh at times. They're not as good as some villains, but they're not as bad as other villains we've seen throughout all the Pokemon movies so far. So, there's always one major drawback for a film, and in this case, it is said villains. For a change as well, similar to last week where Team Rocket slightly got involved, they did get involved in quite a big sequence in this movie, and that's kind of a change for them. They usually just either cameos, appear here and there doing fuck all, or just get involved with the bad guys and actually don't do much with the bad guys. But in this case, they actually did. Well, they have one big sequence, and obviously after that it's more of them just trying to get something, but it's a bit different to what they're used to doing, so it's kind of unique. The movie itself has a very fast-paced start. It gets straight into the action. Even when it sort of slows down a bit to just like how the characters introduced to Volcanion and stuff like that, it still quickly gets into the next scene. It's not like it just drags and drags like some movies have been known to do, which is quite weird because obviously this is the first movie in a while. It's like an hour and a half. Usually the last few have been under an hour 20, so this is the longest in quite some time, and it doesn't hurt it. It doesn't hurt it at all, because as I say, it has this fast-paced start. It does slow down in bits, but it doesn't fully slow down. Then it has this sequence where it does slow down, where you introduce like this new landscape of where Pokemon live. But even then, it quickly gets back into the action for this epic ending of battles, which is really cool, because there's a massive battle on like this floating castle, which is quite cool, especially obviously since the bad guys, every single Pokemon they have are basically able to Mega Evolve, since there's this staff that can cheat Mega Evolution, since obviously Mega Evolution is you have a stone, you have to be connected to the stone and your Pokemon. It's not like you can just do it whenever. Whereas this staff basically forces it no matter what. And obviously the bad guys, every single Pokemon is Mega Evolution able. This is like the Bruce in this film is like the one that has every single Mega Evolved Pokemon, apart from the legendaries, because they were in the previous movie and 2 movies ago, the movie before and the movie before that. So obviously there's no legendaries, but the normal Pokemon do Mega Evolve. Obviously Charizard and that are in the intro, so they're not part of the major battle, but they're still there. So the Mega Evolution is pretty much, well, it kind of sums up this gen, because obviously the gen was focused on Mega Evolution, so it kind of had to go all out and just show every single Mega Evolution Pokemon, and I really like that. As it leads to a really cool battle where obviously good guys versus bad guys, and heck, even got Zygarde getting involved in his 10% form, which is really cool to see. And obviously he does go to his, what I like to dub his Megazord form, which is even amazing. What else we got? There's a funny moment which I won't say too much. There's a scene when Gengar just fucks off, and it just really cracked me up. It just really got me, because he's like, yeah, fuck this, I'm it. It's basically like the Homer Simpson meme, we're going to the bush, but Gengar's version of going into the ground, because it's like, yeah, yeah, we're not gonna win this, bye, which is quite funny. And it does have a very happy ending. So for the second best gen out there in terms of obviously the movies and the series, in my opinion, it had to have this nice ending, and it did. So that's great. Obviously, as I've already pointed out, 2 of my negatives mainly. The obviously other negative I do have is once again for like the third movie straight, it's a scene where a character sort of dies, but it's very quickly brushed aside and they're back on their feet. And I've stayed twice now. I would have liked like a really like drawn out. It's like, oh no, there's nothing's working, and then bang, it happens, back alive. But this is again like many times before. It's just like, oh no, they're dead. Sad music kicks in. Oh no, they're back alive. Yay, we've won. So that's kind of a bit of a groaner. But apart from all those negatives, as I say, overall, this is a great end to the X and Y era, essentially. I think it improves somewhat the Diancie movie set. The Diancie movie set a pace with a decent, very good opening movie. The Hooper one dropped a bit. It was fun, but it dropped a bit in comparison. But I feel like this has gone back to the Diancie and actually overtaken it, in my opinion, because it is a really fun movie to watch. And it does remind me of the Diamond and Pearl gen, in the sense that you had a great start. Though obviously the other ones weren't as good as that one. There's only really one that was fully down in comparison to the rest of them. But obviously in this case, it's kind of gone and then up, which is really good. And so the action is good. Volcanion's a great character. The whole stuck belt is quite cool, and obviously there's a joke during the end credits where you get to see the bad guy get his just desserts by getting stuck with the same belt, which is quite funny. The music's good. The fact that it uses the show's theme song, the last show's theme song, in both the opening and the ending is really great. The music at the end credit, again, it matches the film, but it's just not like a toe tapper that you want. It's a very like heartfelt song, not like this boom boom in your ear sort of song. But I'll let that slide, as I always do. But yeah, obviously because this came out the 20th anniversary of Pokemon at the time. I know I said last time, the Hooper one would have made sense as the 20th for the fact that all the legendaries are present. But I'm happy this was the 20th because it was the better movie. So this is a better way to celebrate 20 years of Pokemon, which obviously, going back to it now, I've gone back to 25 years later, after the first series began airing, or game, whichever was first. I think it was game. Can't remember. So obviously I've gone back to this 5 years after the movie came out, so we're now in 25 years of Pokemon, and it still lives up to what it was 5 years ago. I feel like it does bring it back, and as I say, it's the best one in a while. So I feel like I think I'm gonna have to give it 4.5 Typhlosions out of 5. It's great. It's a great way to end the X and Y movies, and it is the best one of the three. And I feel like it just edges the Deontay one, so I have to give it the 4.5. And before obviously we hit the reboots and remakes, it's a good send off for these movies. And I think I'm done. Okay, so I pass it on to Geeky Bear Alex to give his verdict, and I'll be back to the outro. So, until then.
For fuck's sake, can't believe this, Tom. Why am I such a fucking numpty? Hello everybody, my name's Geeky Bear, and this is totally not the second time I'm me recording this because I had my mic off. And OBS didn't pick my mic up. No, totally not. Anyway, hello, I am Geeky Bear, as I said before, and this is my thoughts and feelings on Volcanion and the mechanical marvel. Overall, I'm just gonna skip right to my overall because, yep, I'm gonna give this film a 4.5 out of 5. It was one of the more engaging films for me. I could not look away from the TV while watching this, or computer screen. Same thing, it's a screen, right? It was fantastic. I loved it. It's not at 5, obviously, but I'll get to that later. It was great. You could see all the mega evolutions of Pokemon. You could see Greninja and his Ash Greninja form. You could see evolution of Volcanion's personality. You could see steampunk. I love steampunk. Steampunk is great. You could see Ash getting thrown around as if he was a doll. And yeah, it was great. It had the great blend of comedic as well as serious moments. And it also gave Team Rocket more of a part to blend them in a certain way with Meowth, surprisingly. Being the Pokemon that can talk human and can understand humans. As you see him get separated from Jesse and James, so that he can basically tell the bad guy of the film when Megan is gone and broken, which I thought was good because it's interesting that the somewhat main Pokemon, legendary, can't talk. I mean, it's also mainly because it was made by humans. This is technically the first Pokemon that is made by humans, as Mewtwo came later on down the line, if you know what I mean. But yeah, you could see Zygarde's 100% form, which I believe this film came out before the last episode of X and Y, so this was like a big holy shit, whoa, he looks great, but you don't really get to see it for that long, which is kind of a shame, really. It would have been nice for him to be like, no, sorry, totally wasn't about to start streaming. And then realised, hold on, my mic's not on. You could see Ash dressed in like a new outfit this time, which I love. I love the clothes he was wearing. I wish it was kind of like more for the entirety of the movie, not just meh. Yeah. So why isn't it a 5? Well, you see, Pokemon has a weird thing where it likes to pretend to kill Pokemon off, or people off, like they did with Ash and Pikachu in the past. They kind of tried to do it with 2 Pokemon this time. Well, 3 people, technically, if you count the bad guy. But yeah, they basically somewhat kind of like broke Megaena, so it was like somewhat dead-ish, and they basically got Volcanion to self-sacrifice, self-Sudoku, which didn't. But it's like, it's a Pokemon film. They're not gonna do that. No way. And it's kind of like a little gripe now. Like, yeah, it's okay to do it for a few films, but it's like a lot of films. Like, they did it with, like, the last film. And the film before that with Mewtwo falling, and then they did it with the Hooper and the guy before, well, the guy that helps Hooper. Yeah. So it seems to be like a big thing. They also did it with Pikachu as well. Sorry, I got my X and Y one. My black and white one included with the X and Y. But I mean, Pikachu did basically almost die as well. So, and loads of people in that film too. So my point kind of still stands. It's kind of like that they've got a kink for making children cry. Do they like it? I mean, yeah, it's a Pokemon film. It's meant to me, a Pokemon film, it's meant to show what Pokemon is like as the entirety of the thing, which I Choose You kind of does in the reboot, which is next week. But yeah, it's sort of like Pokemon isn't for making children cry for sadness. Yeah, it's got some sad parts in the show, but it's not every single episode, which I was gonna say you could kind of think of that like being in every single episode from this, but it's not. But it's just like, stop it, really. Like, it's getting like too overused in my personal opinion. But yeah, that's why it's not a 5. Realistically. The end song was fantastic. It was great. I loved it. It was very unique to the movie. I mean, they're all unique to the movie, but this one, it just really fit. And I loved how unique and well it went. It wasn't even a bad song either. It was really good. I somehow found myself singing along to it just at the end. I was just like, yeah, it's a good song. But yes. Anyway, that's it from me this week. I'm sorry for no Tom being there or there. It's my fault. I woke up late. Yikes. And Tom wanted to do other things instead of wait around for me, which is understandable.
Interesting thoughts there, Alex. Okay, so next week we should be back together if he doesn't sleep in. And we'll be discussing Pokemon the movie I Choose You, which of course was a reboot of the original gen, and it's a reboot of the movies. So taking us back to the start while also keeping all the Pokemon we've seen throughout the gens. So obviously that's going to be interesting, which I haven't seen it in a while. Last time I watched it, I wasn't a big fan, but hopefully I might change my mind. I might not. Who knows? I'll decide then. So until then, Alex, don't oversleep again, please. Thank you. Bye.